Hello everyone, I am back at school after this last weekend, and well, the last weekend went well. Thanksgiving was good. You people should let me know how yours went. I know a few of you, at least Jess, I know, had a very good Thanksgiving. I don't remember much about what you told me, Brian, so if people this week could let me know about their Thanksgiving and everything, that'd be cool. Anyway, on with the rest of the video. First things first, Brian is back, as you all are aware, and as you also watched, you saw that we're going to possibly have Mel be filling in for Brian whenever he is off on deployment out to sea. And I'm pretty sure we're going to end up doing that, but I don't know what the rest of the 5 are saying. I know I approve of it because I came up with the idea originally, so I don't know what you're thinking, Jess and Jay as well. But that's the news for that. We have Brian back. We're all happy about that. It's cool to hear from you again, Brian, and you have very short hair. Onward, a few things. I finished the Carl Sagan book, you know, this one, that I was doing last week. And it took me about 10 days to finish it. And it's very, very good. I suggest you all read it. Basically, it's Carl Sagan talking about pseudoscience and the value of skeptical thought in society, not just in science, but in the world as a whole. Another one, so with that being done, I ended up moving on a bit to other books, since I'm trying to maintain an actually decent reading schedule, and I'm moving on to a bunch of Oscar Wilde. I have finished The Importance of Being Earnest in about a day, and that was funny. Of course, I've read it before, so... but it's always nice to read that sort of thing again. I'm reading Picture of Dorian Gray. I'm about 25 pages into it. Clearly that's not 25 pages, it's a collection of Oscar Wilde. After Oscar Wilde, I'll be going and doing more reading, most likely this book, because, well, I got it about a year ago, and I haven't read it yet, and since I'll have no other books to read, I can actually get down to books that I got a long time ago, and I haven't yet gotten around to reading yet. So this book is probably after Picture of Dorian Gray, which means I'll probably be starting it about next week. Neil Gaiman is a very excellent author. I suggest you all go read him. I've only read one of his books, or 2 of his books technically, one of his full books. The other one I read was his book with Terry Pratchett. Both were excellent. I suggest you read them. Of course, Good Omens, the one with Terry Pratchett, was a lot more comedic than American Gods, which is the other one I read. But still, he's a very good author. I suggest you read him. Other news, I ordered a few weeks ago the new Hank Green album. If you don't know who Hank Green is, I suggest you go and I think the sidebar's over there. Look at Vlog Brothers. He's one of the 2, John and Hank Green. John reads books, or, well, he does read a lot. He has a very giant library, but he also writes books like Looking for Alaska, Abundance of Catherines, and Paper Towns is his most recent one. I suggest you read his stuff and look at Hank Green stuff. It's very entertaining, and of course he's a nerd, so he's particularly entertaining. While we're on the topic of music, this last week, this group on YouTube who does these music, the Symphony of Science music videos, made a new one. There's going to be a link wherever the sidebar is. I suggest you go look at it because they're awesome, and if you don't know what Symphony of Science is, the link will lead you to the profile, so you'll actually be able to look at the rest of the music that they've done. And basically what they do, they take mostly Carl Sagan, but they threw in other people as well, and they take it and use auto-tuning to make a song out of it. It's actually really good, so go look for it. Other than that, I do have some news otherwise, because not much is going on with me. Of course, this last weekend I went down and met the new dog, Allee. Allee is very hyper, very, very hyper, and there's actually a video playing now. But yes, that's Allee. It was really dark, so you couldn't really see her much, but she was going really crazy that night. There's this one pillow she always likes to take, which has like these little ruffles on top. She bites it, and she runs out the door with it and starts running around the yard, and you have to chase her. And in order to make her stop, I had to tackle her, and then she let go of it and ran the other way. Allie's a very entertaining dog. She's fun. She tends to annoy Lucy, because Lucy is like little Lucy, old dog. She's not really down with the whole hyper puppy. So whenever the puppy comes running around, you're petting Lucy, the puppy goes running up and it's like, oh my god, person! And wagging tail ends up smacking Lucy multiple times in the face, so Lucy just walks off the other direction. But yes, you're going to get to know Allee a bit more, since I'll be going down to the valley once again, week after next, for Christmas break. And I look forward to that, because we're almost done. Next week is finals, so we're almost done with this semester. To finish things up, I'm going to talk about a discovery made recently by astronomers, and I found it particularly interesting. Most of you won't find it interesting, but hey, that's what I do. So, what it is, all you know what brown dwarf is. A brown dwarf is something that's much larger than Jupiter, but much smaller than a star. It's hotter than Jupiter, but too cool to be a star. It's basically between a star and a planet. And it's not big enough for thermonuclear fusion to begin at its core between hydrogen to turn into helium. So it's a brown dwarf. It doesn't let off enough heat in order to be bright, but it lets off infrared wavelengths. So anyway, with that being said, they're considered failed stars. But there's an article, one way or the other is the link in the sidebar, I don't remember which. They discovered, for the first time, what is probably a nursery for brown dwarfs, proto-brown dwarf star. This is significant because we've never found it before, and brown dwarfs are a little bit of a mystery to us, and they actually account for quite a bit of matter in our galaxy that we didn't know existed beforehand, but we found them. They're small, but we know now that they form like stars and not planets. So that's kind of cool. But yes, that's that. That's probably all of this week that I have. It's snowing now for first time since last year. It's, well, not first time because it snowed a few months ago, but it's snowing, like, it actually snowed this over the weekend, and we have about 3 inches on the ground. It's all melting now, but it's going to be snowing again next week. So it's getting cold in Flagstaff. Other than that, nothing much else to say. Angus Martin reminding you that laziness prevails, and I'll see everyone next week.